Let's talk about what you can do in a situation where you don't have motivation to do something. In a situation that could actually cause procrastination because most people don't really know what causes procrastination, right? At the same time, this particular episode will help you manage your team. And this is coming from episode 31, which is chapter 21 of this book titled You Have to Leverage the Power of Progress. So this is coming from this book, The Diary of a CEO. And if you stick to the very end, it shows that you're somebody who takes yourself very, very serious. And to take yourself much more serious, subscribe to the channel, share the video, and get a copy of this book. So first of all, one thing, as the title says, you have to leverage the power of progress. There are people who believe that they need to have the perfect conditions for them to make progress. And that is the entire point, right? The perfect condition in any situation does not exist. It does not exist. I can guarantee you that. So now, if you zoom out and look at what else they are thinking, you get to realize that most often than not, this is because they do not focus on progress. They focus on perfection. And that is why I love the philosophy of Kaizen, where you are aiming to improve 1% every day, 1% every day. So instead of it trying to and this same philosophy goes into learning a new habit. Instead of it trying to focus on reading like 30 pages on your first day of reading, why don't you read 5 pages? Instead of looking at how you can make a 30 minutes YouTube video, look for how you can make a 3-minute YouTube video. Now, bringing it back to it, you will see that if you understand this idea of progress over perfection, you get to realize that in a team, if the team feels like they are making progress, same thing in your life too. If you feel like in any particular given area you're making progress, or on a side note, at the point of making this video, I have been growing on YouTube at 2 followers per week, and that is progress. That is progress. That shows that people see the value in what I am doing, and well, at some point, magic is going to happen. So it's the same thing with the company and in your life in any area. Focus on that progress. There is a reason you are progressing, and if you know why you are progressing, it's easier for you to double down. And scientifically, it's better for a team to know that they are making progress. Obviously, in this video later, I'm telling you how you can literally make that progress move faster. Think about it. It is just called momentum. And in this life, the moment you have momentum, that is basically all you need. That is what you need to achieve a better situation. Momentum. But yet, people are waiting for a perfect time. But there's no perfect time. And if you look at it now, that's mostly causes procrastination. If you ever look at something that you're procrastinating about, it's because sometimes you could feel a sort of mental stress when you think about that task. Right? You think about mental stress. And one key thing that helps me with procrastination is just starting. Just try to start it. That is the reason the just do it philosophy is a very strong philosophy by Nike. People assume that it's a marketing campaign. No, it is a life philosophy that if you have that thing that is bothering your mind, if you just do it, at some point, you'll get it. That is the whole idea of the Nike philosophy. Take it or leave it. So anytime you're yourself procrastinating, one key task is break it down, right? Or because it's smallify the task. How can you break this task where if you just start it, guess what? You have no choice but to force yourself to continue, because when you start, you see progress. If the goal is small enough, but not too small where it is not motivating, but if it's small enough and you accomplish that small part, that is the beginning of progress. That is the beginning of becoming 1% better. That is the beginning of progress over perfection. So in this book, he brings out, I think, about 5 steps to creating that progress in teams. It comes from a professor, I think Professor Amabel. And the professor gives you about 5 steps on how you can actually make progress happen, right? The first step is to create meaning. You see, sometimes, right, some people don't really act because they don't really know the value of the task they should act on. Most people don't act on their goals, not because they don't even have the resources, but because they have no deep sense of purpose, right? They don't even know why they do it in the first place. And this is even the worst situation to ever be in. But most human beings, they yearn for a purpose, they yearn for a meaning. So if you bring a team together, right, try to figure out why that team is together, because when they have a strong why, the how becomes easier. Same thing with Fred Nietzsche. When Fred Nietzsche says that he who has a why, or he who knows why and has a why, can bear anyhow. Because the how is not the problem, it is the why. And like I always say, in every single situation, there are principles, there are practices. Most people are always looking for the shortcut practices, but it is the principles that really that really get you there. It is the principles that never change that is what you should focus on. I digressed over there. And speaking about creating meaning, this is why I love this idea of Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs is just somebody that I think I'm not trying to. Yes, I'm a big fan of Steve Jobs, and that's because his work, his thought process was super amazing. So Steve Jobs walks up to John Scully, right? Although John Scully knifed him in the back later in the future, but that's not the point. Steve Jobs walked up to John Scully, who at the time was the CEO of Pepsi, and Steve Jobs, thinking that John Scully will be a right CEO for Apple, told John Scully, "Do you want to keep making sugar water that kill people, or do you want to come and make a change in the universe?" That idea must have struck John Scully's head, because at the moment, leaving Pepsi for Apple may not have been a wise choice, but with the way Steve Jobs presented it, he didn't present it of, "Oh, come to Apple, we'll pay you better." No, it is, "Come to Apple, and we have a very strong mission here that we believe will definitely going to impact your life." That is why I can't I can't overemphasize on the idea of having a strong why, a clear why. Because when the work has no meaning, motivation evaporates. So the stronger the meaning, the stronger the motivation. Without meaning, there is no motivation. With meaning, weak motivation. I hope you get that point. Now, the second thing here is to set clear goals and make them achievable. Because to be very, very frank, if you are dealing with a team, right, if you have very large goals, it scares people away. And to be very frank, your team can only move as fast as its weakest link. So, same thing here, break down those goals. Make it clear, make it that every step looks actionable. The whole idea here is to make their brains see progress, right? There's some tasks that will be very difficult. So break it down, right? Break it down, because you want the more their brains can, first of all, see a good reason to do it, and notice that they can achieve it. They can take action to make progress today. They are going to try their possible best to make that progress. 3, one other thing is that people want to feel like you need to provide some level of autonomy, because people want to feel like they are the owners of that process. People want to feel like they are the ones in charge of that process. So when you provide them autonomy, it makes them realize that this person is actually working in their favor. This person, and also when people have a strong why for doing something, they want to own the process, right? So whenever, if you're looking over their shoulder trying to tweak their process, it's one thing if they don't know what they are doing and you're trying to guide them. It's one thing if they're experts in the field, they have a strong why, they know the how, let them do it. This is why I think, or Steve Jobs that says that, oh no, that's Steve Jobs or from A-Log. He says that they said that you can't hire a dog and bark on their behalf. When you have, and this is why Steve Jobs emphasized on getting quality staff, team A plus members, A team members, where he said that if you have a goal and a vision and you get the best people on it, leave them, let them do what they want to do, because they are going to pour in their best efforts. And since they are the best and they are pouring in their best efforts, which comes from you making them autonomous, making them have everything they want, then they're going to have the best products. The fourth thing here is to remove all sorts of friction. Now, to be very frank, if you have a team, there's always some form of bureaucracy, there's always some form of something could basically just stop the flow of it. And if it's a company, worse, bureaucracy. If they need the approval, make things happen fast. If he says he needs something, try to tell how you can make it happen fast. And that is the very essence of a company, right? Of a team, or you as a CEO. When you come together, the team says, "Oh, for us to achieve this goal, we need this. You have to provide this," right? So just look at things, that anything that could slow down their process, and remove it for them, because that slowing down the process will cause psychological stress, which you don't want. Whether you like it or not, I tell people that psychological stress is more damaging than physical stress. Why? Because you really can't see it. And the irony is, you take psychological stress with you everywhere you go. So if you have stress coming from your family, you take it to work. If you have stress from work, there's a high chance you take it to family. And the fifth and the most important point is to broadcast progress. As they're taking that small action that you have broken down into milestones or into actionable steps, you have to celebrate that progress over and over again. Celebrate it. Because that is the real momentum, and that's the feedback loop. And I would say, try your possible best to close that feedback loop. So when you see something that is worth applauding, applaud it over and over and over again. Right? Applaud it. So let me just leave you on my notes. To solve problems, encourage and celebrate small wins. So to solve problems, encourage and celebrate small wins. This will help you with continuous forward momentum, which creates an atmosphere or an environment for success and a positive sense that a team or you're moving towards your big goals. Employees are most motivated when they are engaged with work that they are doing. It feels like the work is making a difference and they are making progress at it. Now, the most professionally rewarding feeling in the world is a sense of forward motion. That is why this chapter is called Leverage the Power of Momentum of Progress. So if you made it this far, it shows that you're somebody who takes your life very, very serious. So one thing I will encourage you to do is share this video with somebody who you know will find it helpful. And if you like the ideas in this book, in this episode, feel free to grab a copy of this book. And if you can't grab a copy of this book, I would recommend that you go and listen to his podcast, The Diary of a CEO. Stephen Bartlett brings on great guests on that podcast. So please go ahead and check it out. So, yep, I know you take yourself very serious. So thank you very much for staying this far. Talk to you soon, and bye for now.